Welcome to Gems of Knowledge with your host, David Bellman and Justin Kroll. Each week, our experts will answer all of your jewelry questions with Rachel Putney, our social media maven, who will relay your questions to our experts. And now, here's your host, David Bellman.
We are back. We are going to now take part 3 and move forward in the process of your experience on the cruise. And we're at the point now where we're actually in the jewelry store. You're surrounded by, at least 2 salespeople that work at the store. Plus, you've got the other people from the cruise ship that are kind of overseeing everything that's happening and making sure that you're spending, the adequate amount of money, it seems to me. And he's showing you diamonds and mountings. And tell me first, because again, completely shocked. I never heard of this before. No prices on the price tags. Tell me about that.
No prices.
On anything that you saw anyway.
No. It just looked like a bunch of numbers, serial numbers. I mean, it did not look like any prices, just a bunch of numbers.
So when they quoted you prices, how did they come up with a price? How did they...
I have no idea. He had a calculator. He'd look at that, and then he'd show me the price on his calculator.
So those serial numbers, correct me if I'm wrong, is it some kind of code?
It's gotta be.
They're looking at those serial numbers and determining what they need to price it at just by... There must be a certain order they put the numbers in and find out the price through.
Yes.
I wish I knew that.
Of course,
I
it's
wish
a secret.
I knew that.
Yeah, you can't look at it and determine it.
No.
So what do? They size you up. That's the way I'm looking at this, right? So you go into this place, they size you up, and they say, you know what?
They probably see the jewelry I'm wearing and say, oh, she's a target.
Yeah, and all of a sudden they just throw out what could be considered a random price, right? I mean, how do you know?
Well, the thing is, I think that people, when you actually like something, there's no price tag, you're going to ask how much it is, and right there, they're able to, kind of sell it to you. Whereas when you see a price tag and you know it's out of your price range, you don't ask any questions, you just kind of leave it and find something else. Yeah. So without having those prices, that's their way of attacking people.
Well,
you're absolutely right.
You could come in, they see you with all the jewelry and looking nice and all that, and they tell you it's a $30,000 ring, and then somebody else comes in and maybe they don't look like they have so much money, and they say, this is a $20,000 ring.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you have no clue. You have no basis of ever knowing on any item that you've purchased whether you paid more, less, a good price, or a bad price.
Yes.
I get it. I know the guys mark up jewelry and they'll take the tag and they'll put $50,000 on something and then they'll say it's 50% off and kind of pretend like it was a big deal.
Yeah.
And you got a huge discount. But here, you don't even get that benefit.
You don't. It's like I'm completely blind
in the dark.
to it. Yeah. I have no idea.
Believable.
Yeah.
All right. So you get to a certain point, you're looking at 3 or 4 pieces of jewelry now because you want to negotiate the best deal. Mm-hmm. Then they bring out the diamonds and you pick one particular stone. And what was the price on the diamond ring? Oh, and it was this branded diamond. Tell me what you had told me when you asked him about the branded diamond. Tell me.
Okay, I asked, because he did tell me that was a unique cut made available to only Diamonds International, that I wasn't going to be able to buy it in the United States.
I see.
And I asked him, because of that, is this diamond valued at a higher rate than a regular diamond? Mm-hmm. And he told me only about $200 or $300 more. He kind of whispered that. He didn't say that real loud.
Really?
He says only about $200 or $300. So I'm thinking, well, okay, $200 or $300. I still like the ring, I mean, if, and
okay.
I hadn't been shopping for diamonds, so I don't know. I did not know what they went for.
Right. Well, we're going to get back to that afterwards as we go into some of these additional parts going forward. I'm going to explain to you what, the significance of what he said there. So that's an important part to keep in mind as we go forward on this, because that's a big part. The cut of the diamond is a big part of the value of the diamond. And it can go positive, or in many cases like this, it can go very negative. And that's what we're going to discuss in the future parts. But so let's continue on, because we just talked about this, about the financing,
Yes.
you know.
Okay, that was another thing that they made look pretty good. They offered me 24 months, 0% financing.
Okay.
And that appealed to me. So I says, well, okay, I think I can make this work, you know. And they told us that it was going to take about an hour to make out all the papers and to put the stone in the ring. So my husband and I went to lunch.
So even before you got your credit line, because you didn't know how much you were going to get.
Yeah.
They were already mounting this diamond, and the total package, just so we can be clear of how much you were spending at this point, you were up to how much in total?
The whole thing was $29,100.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this paperwork that you filled out asked, salary and work and, some formula or whatever they needed to know, some details about your income and so forth in order to
Yes,
establish.
I had to fill that out, yeah. And then they said that I was approved for $11,000.
Oh, so after lunch when you came back?
I believe it was after lunch.
Okay.
I believe it was. They said I was approved for $11,000, and I says, well, that's not enough. And I don't know. The person spoke with someone else and said that that they waived it and they would approve me for $26,100, and therefore there'd be a $3,000 difference. And if we could put that on another credit card, it would be good. So my husband put the $3,000 on his credit card, and the $26,000 was put on a new credit card,
like
Diamonds International credit card.
an in-store branded card.
Correct.
Okay. Now, and Rachel and I talked about this after we heard about this, and we were talking about how someone goes into a store, like in any other jewelry store, and you go for a third-party credit line or you try to get a credit line. That's based on your income. That's based on what your ability to pay was based on that $11,000.
I don't have the power. David doesn't have the power. You don't have the power to just say, I'll give you like $13,000 more.
Yeah. Who does this?
I don't know.
How is this possible?
I was surprised.
Just like that. They didn't say anything else. Just, well,
No, they didn't even ask me what we had, if we owned our own home or any of those type of questions either, as far as collateral.
So so what's happening here is they're loading you up with debt.
Yeah.
And again, I don't know if you can afford it or not, but even if you can, it doesn't matter. There's formulas that they're supposed to follow. There's only, you can't just go to say to someone, because you spent this amount of money, we're just going to give you this amount of money.
Yeah.
And then what happens if
What happens, if either one of us pass away or, anything happens. I wish they hadn't approved me, really.
I don't know where you can
doesn't
go.
make sense.
Where they can double your credit, just by, okay. Sure,
That'd
now
be
your
nice,
credit card. Right?
I want to find somewhere that will do that for me.
I think I'm going to go find that place too.
They did, no questions asked.
Howard's in there shaking his head going, this is nuts. And it is. It is. I've never heard of just, by the way, here's another $13,000. Don't worry about it. We'll take care of it.
Yeah.
Like it's nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's just terrible. Because again, I know that you can't afford it, but if you were someone who couldn't and they just went ahead and did it, and then you come home, and of course now we're going to get into the contract shortly, and you're going to understand why that is going to be a big problem, because all of a sudden you realize, which we'll get into shortly, that you can't return anything, and then you're stuck with $26,000 in debt and jewelry that may not even be worth close to what you paid for it ultimately, and that's kind of where this is all headed. But let's just recap a few things. And there were some VIP cards and discounts and other stuff that they were supposed to give you. What happened with that?
Okay, so before they mounted everything, when we were finalizing the deal, I almost forgot all about that. And I says, oh, wait a minute. I have some VIP cards here, and I have two $100 discounts for the diamond, and I have a $50 discount for the ring. And the woman that was working with him said, well, is that okay? And he says, yeah. She says, well, both $100? He says, yeah. He says, I'll take the heat for it.
Good call. cop, bad cop.
I'll
Now
take the-
that I really questioned. Then I went, yeah, right.
Yeah.
He'll take the
I
heat
think he
for it,
meant he'll
like he's
take the
doing me a
commission.
real
Thank
big
you very
favor.
much.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
it won't affect his commission
And then,
that much.
and then I don't know, maybe he was trying to reach a certain limit or something.
Mm-hmm.
But originally I said that I had looked at an amylite corite pendant. I liked the stone. It's one of these stones that's found in Canada.
Okay.
And he comes in and he shows me a ring.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, do you like this ring? And I says, yeah, it's pretty nice.
Yeah.
I says, why, you want to give it to me? Jokingly. He says, no, but I'll sell it to you. He says, it's a $900 ring. He says, I'll sell it to you for $400.
Again, no price on the tag, right? So you
Course
have no
not.
idea if it...
No, of course not. And it's sterling silver.
Okay.
So I said, okay, $400. I thought it was a $900 ring. I still believed him.
Mm-hmm.
Until I go look on the internet and I see I can find a ring like that for about $400. So he really didn't do me any favor at all.
And that's, again, we're going to get to this. I hate to keep saying that all the time, but because this is such an involved story. But many of the items that you ended up buying, after everything that they went through and telling you that, did we do the duty-free thing yet? Did we even talk about that?
No, we have not yet.
All right. Well, just because this is a quick one, did they mention it's duty-free?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Can I tell everybody out there, just so we can end this part once and for all? Yes, it's true. When you go to the islands, it's duty-free jewelry, and guess what? It's duty-free here in the U.S. as well. So no, they're not lying to you. Yes, it really is duty-free, but guess what? We don't pay a duty here either, so it makes no difference at all in the price. It's all going to be the same.
Hey, it's Howard. Gems of Knowledge wants to thank everyone for their comments and emails about our cruise line series. Next week in part 4, Elaine explains the pressure she felt having to make her purchase and sign several documents before returning back to her ship before it leaves port. You will learn that most of what she was told on the cruise was either misrepresented or completely false, and that the great deal she was expecting never happened. Then she realizes that she was set up the moment she stepped on the ship. You will also discover the big surprise awaiting her when she finally gets home and has time to read all the fine print. It's so shocking, we will be joined by a contract attorney who will walk us through the outrageous terms and conditions of her purchase. Share this video with anyone you know who has either been on a cruise or is planning to take one.